Hello everyone, today I'm doing a very requested video which is ranking all of the abilities that we have had so far up to update 2.8 in terms of usefulness. So I'll be doing a tier list and talking over all of the abilities that I own in the game just to show you some details and explain my thoughts a little bit better. But before we get started, please know that this is entirely my personal opinion. This is just my thoughts and my experience. You may not agree with all of it. And I say that because I have done these tier lists multiple times on my live streams, and every time it is chaotic. I am not called nameless, tasteless, or born tasteless for no reason. So please know that my opinions are my own and not representative of every single player. Okay, so I still recommend you go hop in the game and test things for yourself. But this is my personal experience. I went ahead and already opened the tier list page and also already removed all of the whimsicality and not really like all of the stuff that is just a special effects or visuals. I'm not going to be talking about them in this video. If you would like that, please let me know down below and I can make a separate video, but just so we don't lose too much time with things that are not really relevant to your gameplay. So these outfits here don't have anything super special in terms of quality of life, while these ones here are the outfits that we're going to talk about today. Starting with the cowboy, I actually believe that this is a must-have if you don't have a 5-star alternative. So for example, Born Flawless is an outfit that has an amazing dash that completely cancels the need of any mount, bikes, or anything like that. But if you don't have Born Flawless, the cowboy is an excellent free-to-play alternative. I feel like this is a really proper good one. This ability will summon a bike. It's equipped as a whimsicality, as you can see here. I'm gonna save. And when you use this whimsicality, she will do a very lengthy animation, like around 2 seconds there, and then you can hop on this bike. And this is essentially a mount. You can drive around whatever map you want with this bike, and you can jump as well. So this is a very useful ability, especially considering this is from a 4-star outfit, which is very easy to get when it reruns. So it's from a banner, but it's a really good ability. Also, it's really cute that during the nighttime, the light turns on, and I love that so much. Look at that. That's so cute. I basically got this ability just to decorate my home islands, although please keep in mind that to use it as a decoration in your home island, it does not turn on the lights. At least I didn't manage to turn it on when it's being used as a decorative item. But yeah, the bike is really useful, especially if you don't have any better like 5-star alternative. Oh, and when you open the wardrobe while mounted on the bike, you can change your cycling outfit. So this is a special outfit that you wear while you are in the bike. Then we have the art of tailoring. And again, art of tailoring, very similar to the cowboy, is a must-have if you do not have enchanted encounter. So this is just so good. It saves you so much time. Actually, to be fair, for me, it's a must-have, but you could consider a nice-to-have, because some people have told me that they don't care about skipping the Patty animation, but I'm gonna show you the ability here just so you know exactly what's the difference. So when you equip this ability on your Patty ability and you go pet an animal, it will do super quickly. I can press the button and I can run away, and it's already petted. If you do not have that and you only have the default petting ability, which is this one that we got at the start of the game, when you go pet an animal, you get a whole little animation with them, which you can press F to skip. So I guess that's why some people don't mind. Oh my god. Oh, poor baby. He's even shaking there. No, I never saw this animation. That's so cute. So sometimes maybe you want to see them, but if you're grinding for tons of mad, then maybe having art tailoring will help you save a lot of time, and maybe that's a must-have for you. So it really depends. For me, speed is really important. I'm someone who always prioritizes speedy gameplay. So for me, art tailoring is a must-have, but it really depends on your priorities. Then we have the Blooming Dreams, and the Blooming Dreams is not really needed. I'll be honest. This is just a skin for your floating ability, and all it does is add some animation and add some further control on how you float. So you equip here on the floating. I do have Blooming Dreams, and you just float normally, but you have a special little purple animation there with the wings, which are very cute. If you do use the actual fairy wings that comes with this outfit, they actually flutter, so the animation is really cute. If you care about that, I'm gonna change the wings here just so you see, but only these ones, okay? Only the wings of this ability will float, the other wings will not. As you can see, the wings will flutter, which is really cute. But again, I feel like this is entirely optional and aesthetic only, with exception of the tap float, which I personally hate. So I don't really think it's useful. Sorry, I went to the wrong ability. On the floating, you can click on settings and you can equip the tap float. Once you toggle this on, it means you have to press the spacebar to every single floating that you want to do. So I'm gonna press only once. She's gonna fall immediately, as you can see. For me to maintain her float, I'll need to press the spacebar multiple times to float. I personally don't see any use case where I want to do that, so I always turn it off. But just so you know, you have this option with Blooming Dreams specifically. Then we have the Crimson Chicken. Oh my gosh, this is nice to have. I would say it's not a must, because all it really does is stop you mid-air while you're floating. So I'm gonna show you here, which is that when you float, you stop mid-air. This is amazing. I love the animation. I love that the wings open. I love the color. I love everything. The transformation is really cool. The aesthetic is amazing. I really want this ability outfit, but I do think that it's not a must-have. What is really cool about it though is that you can take photos while mid-air. So you can press P to screenshots, or you can enter the camera mode and then you can click on these buttons here and then you can float. And now you can take photos right here while floating, and I think you can change the poses as well. Yeah, you can even change the poses mid-air. So if you're someone who cares about taking photos, this could be a good one to access some higher spots and do like some proper fairy floating kind of photos. That's the main reason why I really want this. I think that's really, really cool. Shout out to Lambs, I think, and Vanagas, who told me about this trick here. And I love that the wind animation happens here with some of the dresses. Not every dress does that, but the floating dress here, which is from the default floating ability, do float, and as well as the wings, as you can see here. So love that. Really, really fun if you care about photos. If you don't, it's not really a must, I would say. I think actually, to be more fair here, I'll do this as an optional, because it really depends if you care about taking photos and stopping me there or not. So I'll put optional, but I personally love this one. And just to try to be more neutral with this review, because I want to help people who are just starting to play and maybe are saving for the next reruns, because now we're gonna start having some really good reruns with some really good abilities, so maybe it's a good time for that. I'm also going to create a new category here at the row below, which is also reds, and I'm gonna call us free-to-play alternative to above, and I think that's more helpful. So, because especially for the Cowboy and Naruto tailoring, they already rerun, so you're gonna wait a long time. If you're watching this on the first few days that I'm posting, you're gonna wait a little, you know? So anyways, this is the free-to-play alternative to above, but they are also must-haves, I would say. I think that's more organized. And then next we have the Crimson Rhapsody. This is not needed at all. I don't see the purpose of this. There is some people who like it for taking photos and reaching some spaces, but I personally think it's extremely limited. So this is an ability on its own. It will take a whole slot on your wheel, so this is something to keep in mind, because we only have 3 wheels available, at least at the moment. And all this does is transform you into a plushie. It was interesting for Wishing Woods because you're now Momo sized and you can reach certain spots, but as you can see here, I'm only rotating, because when I press W, A, S, and D, I do not walk. I only rotate. You cannot walk with this, and I think that this limitation really ruins it for me. So you can transform and rotate, and you can jump. So you can do it like that, you know, and then you can jump around. And I don't understand why this is so limited. I personally have never used this ability, and I don't think I ever will, but there is some use cases where people may enjoy this for some photos or some like reach certain spots, I suppose. Then we have Dance Until Dawn, and I don't think this is really needed at all. All this does is help you with gliding, because it changes the skin of the gliding. Instead of having that gigantic blue flower, you have some balloons instead. And I do not have the ability, so I cannot show you in detail, but I can try to, if I remember, I'll put some visuals here in the video. What it really helps though is that your turns while gliding are so easy and smooth. Like you don't take a little leg to turn around like you do with the default gliding. No, you turn instantly. That's the real big advantage of this outfit, is that it helps you turn so quickly. It's a lot more speedy. I just say it's not needed rather than optional because gliding ability can only be used in Stoneville and Abandoned District. Oh, and Carnival Islands as well. So there is only 3 maps, and they're very old maps as well from the beginning of the game, that you can really use this ability. Will this be useful in the future? Maybe. Maybe they will let us use this ability again in future maps. But so far, we haven't had any new maps that we can use this. And I think that this turns this not really needed. If they do release new maps that use gliding, then sure, this will be a lot better, at least for turning around. Then we have Enchanted Encounter. This is a must-have. No questions asked here. This is the GOAT, and it's just gotten even better now with some optimizations that they've done. It is a petting ability. You equip it here. And what this does is it lets you pet all of the animals in area. So for example, we have some animals here. They're already petted, but just to show you, you do it like that, and it's a massive area. It will pet all of the animals, and you can still run while you're doing it. You can still jump while you're doing it. Let me try to find an area with tons of pets, and I'll show you. Oh, I already petted my home island's pet today, but look at this. You do one click and you pet all of your animals at once. For people who care about the home building, this is life-changing. Like, not having to pet all these animals every single day one by one is amazing. Like, this is the best advantage of this outfit for sure. But it also helps you with your grinding, it speeds things up. But like we just saw earlier though, sometimes you may want to deactivate it just to see the cute petting animations. I wasn't aware that they were making like unique animations for each animals, but that was a nice finding. Maybe I'll test that later. This is super cute though. And I think that the petting area is really, really helpful. Let me try to find a group of animals to show you the actual area though, which is really good. Oh yeah, I just remembered I also have Soundless Dawn, which we'll talk about in a bit. But this outfit here, the ability is basically the perfect pair, the perfect combo with the Enchanted Encounter. It's really good pairing because Soundless Dawn groups animals. But we're gonna talk about this a little bit later. So for Enchanted Encounter, as you can see, I can pet all of these animals at once, even some that are underground, like on the lower levels of the map. And I'm gonna move away from these. So you see the massive area, like look at that. Okay, now they disappeared. You see, I can still pet those ones over there. And look how far I am. Like, this is crazy. The area of this ability is insane. And I'm gonna use the ability, and you see the animals floating there. They got petted. So this is such a huge area. I think this and Floral Rebirth are the abilities that have the biggest areas here. But it's really, really useful and really a massive quality of life improvements if you have this outfit. Then we have a Snowy Ballad. A Snowy Ballad, I would say it's optional because the ballerina can sort it. Oh, the ballerina is not here, by the way. I'll have to add that manually in a bit. I think that this is not really that needed anymore. I'll put it as optional in case you really love it, because it also can help you reach farther distances, but this ability lets you walk on water. The problem is, every time they release a new map for a couple weeks, you can't really use this ability. Like, the waters kind of like don't freeze, and this is so annoying to me. They really need to sort it out. We have tested all types of waters on my streams, and it really depends on the area. There is no proper logic. Sometimes running water works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes a pond works, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the map and how new the map is, but I personally think it's a downside that the ballerina is not gonna have. So I'm gonna show you the ability now, and it is also its own ability that takes up a whole slot on your wheel. And right now I'm in the wanxiang realm. I came here to tell you about the ability specifically because when wanxiang realm was released, all of the first few days I could not use the Snowy Ballad on this pond, on these waters. So I think now it's been fixed, but this is something that really annoys me about this ability because I can never truly use it to explore on the first few days of the map, but I think now it's fixed. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. They haven't fixed. I thought they did. I don't know, I tested this on the stream recently. Oh no, they really didn't, but it was fixed. Maybe here on this corner, That's so weird. You see what I mean? Like, this is supposed to be an ability about walking on water, but then not every water works, and you never know which water does until you kill your Nikki, basically, to find out. Let me see if this water works. Oh, this one does. So you see, it's also running water, like downstairs, but this one works. That one doesn't. And you see, like, this is super random. This is the same water as the place that we were before. So we were right here. If you walk towards this waterfall, suddenly it works. But it also doesn't work because if you head over this part, it doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? So they need to fix this. I don't think there is enough people complaining about this for them to know that it's a priority. But I have noticed this since Dungeon Realm, I think, was introduced. That's when I first noticed that the new maps don't get updated very quickly to work with this ability. So this ability is kind of like dephased almost. I don't think it's truly worth it. If it reruns like Snowy Ballad and Crimson Phoenix, I would say Crimson Phoenix is better, because at least you can take cool photos with it while floating. You can take cool photos with this ability as well, because the animation is beautiful, as you can see here. And you can make like an ice fairy or something like that and take photos above the ice, but that's it. One cool thing about this ability is that it's very centered around co-op, just like Crimson Phoenix was. And if you hold hands with a friend, your stamina bar helps you reach far distances. Then we have the sieve, and the sieve essentially creates a water area that increases the fish rate and fish bite when you go fishing. Honestly, I don't think that's really needed. Love the sieve, but I feel like the outfit is gorgeous and everything, but the ability is not really wow enough for me to tell you like, oh, you have to pull when it reruns. You know what I mean? I feel like they need to make a proper fishing ability that fishes all the fishes in the area. That would be a better one to make, to be honest. I feel like increasing fish, maybe this combined with a fishing area could be an amazing pairing, like Soundless Dog. So this could become an optional ability if we get something that pairs well with it. Maybe that's what they're planning to do when they rerun the sieve. They may release a fishing ability as well. So this could be an interesting combo. So I'll leave it optional just in case, like for the future. But we don't have anything today that really makes this super worth it. Then we have Timeless Melody. Timeless Melody is not needed anymore. I think that Timeless Melody was really proper good during the first year because it was a purification ability that helped you purify the Asselins and also helped you put them to sleep, as well as putting animals to sleep. But if you have Enchanted Encounter, you don't need to put them to sleep. That's the reality of it, because the area of Enchanted Encounter is insane. So I'm going to show you Timeless Melody. I do have a soft spot for it because the ability has carried me for a long time, but truly, I don't think you really need that anymore. So you use it as a purification, you can use charged attacks, and then of course you have the ultimate. So when you ult with Timeless Melody, you can put Asselins to sleep as well as animals. So all these animals here gathered around will sleep once I ult. You have this very beautiful cutscene that is perfect for the ballerina outfit, I just realized. And you can put all of them to sleep. It's really cute to see them sleeping. Maybe worth it for taking photos, maybe. But that's it. You know what I mean? When you're ulted, if you're using it for combat, you can do 6 attacks. Each one of them have a different pose. I think you can screenshot in the middle. Oh yeah, you can. So, you know, for photos, it's kind of like Crimson Phoenix. For photos, it may be a good one, you know? It's just kind of cute. And then you have this other pose, and this one, and the final, which gives like deals damage in area. But again, we don't really use purification anymore. We may get a whole new combat system in 3.0. So I'm not entirely sure that this will be useful for much longer. It depends on how the game is updated. But I personally think that this was amazing, but it's too late now, kind of. Then we have Wings of Wishes. This is not really needed at all. This is very similar to the gliding and the blooming dreams. It's basically just a skin for your floating. It's very similar to blooming dreams, actually. It helps you reach farther distances, but by very little. I don't have this outfit, so I can show you. Again, if I remember, I'll put a little recording from the wiki here. But I do think that the little centimeter more that you get is not really worth pulling an entire outfit that you don't like, maybe. So I think this is like completely skippable, I would say. unless you really love the origami vibe of the floating, which it looks pretty cool. Then we have this full style outfit, which is nice to have. I personally never used it, but it's because I have Born Flawless, which helps me a lot with combat and also heals. But this ability here will heal you 1 heart every now and then. So I'm gonna show you here. It is a whimsicality, so you need to use the whimsicality button to equip it. And I'll try to take some damage here. I'll try to lose as many hearts as I can. Okay, so I've lost quite a few hearts. As you can see, I have only 2 left, and I'm gonna use this whimsicality. She makes a quick animation, and then she starts healing. So if you stay in this area, you will heal a heart every few seconds. And then you have to use it again, but after you wait the little cooldown there. So I can already use it again. So it's not super broken, but it can help if you struggle with combat or you struggle with survivability. Maybe this paired with Magio as a companion could help you heal very quickly in middle of a battle or a boss battle maybe. So this is a nice ability to have. It really depends on your needs personally, but I do think this is a nice ability to have just in case. Then we have the Loong Dragon, and the Loong Dragon, I would say it's a nice to have as well. The dragon itself is not that useful because it's only for taking photos unless you're exploring Dungeon Island because you can fly around. And flying around is super fun. I love doing that with the chroma deer in Wanxiang realm. So when you use it in Dungeon Island specifically, if you haven't, fully explored that map yet, or if you just enjoy flying, you can use the dragon to fly. I love the flying. I think it's so relaxing. It's really cool to do that sometimes, but I would never call that a must-have. You can just clear all the content without it. All you have to do is click on the button. You can be mid-air or not, it doesn't matter, and you will summon the dragon. And you can toggle these 2 buttons here, E and Q, to better control the verticality of the flying. It's a really cool and fun flying mechanic. It's nice during the night. But if you try to exit, it's gonna tell you that you can't unless you're near a ground area. So keep that in mind as well. Like sometimes that's a little annoying. You want to stop on a spot and it doesn't let you. So it teleports you back to like the previous spot that you were in like half an hour ago. So this is a little bit annoying, but I still think that the ability is very relaxing. Like look at this. I'm flying on the dragon. There is nothing better than that. And you can also use the screenshots and take a photo, of course. It's amazing. I love this so much. This is such a cool ability, but it's not a must-have in any way. What I do think it's a must-have though, so I'm gonna exit here and show you, is the teleports. The teleports are amazing. Such a life-changing, time-saving ability to have. So you have to... Oh, okay, the ink. Interesting. I never noticed this voice line for mobile. I think it's kind of new. These teleports, you can place 2 in the map, and you simply need to press and hold, sorry. I don't have this up, so it's hard for me to remember. This is the teleport. So you can place 2 of them in the map. And when you click on the map, they appear as a warp point. So you can warp to them whenever and wherever you want. I think this is a really time-saving thing because, for example, think the bouquet. The bouquet is an animal that you can only pet once a day. It's a rare animal and it's really far away from every warp. Like, look at this. This is where the bouquet is. So I really recommend you put the warp, like one in the bouquet maybe another one in like a place that you go every day to explore, maybe on the more recent maps. Oh, I think there is no maps here. Yeah, never mind. But there's so many areas that doesn't have a warp. You can just put these teleports. And not only that, when you go to the map itself, you can retrieve the teleport from there. So I can click here and delete, and that's it. So you don't even need to head over to the spot to remove the teleport. So overall, I would say it's a nice to have. Not a must, but it definitely can save time and everything. Then we have Forever Bonds. And I would say the Forever Bond is very unfortunately very optional. Actually, not really needed anymore even. It hurts me to say that because very similar to Timeless Melody, it was so incredibly useful for a long time, but it's not really being used anymore for the mere fact that purification is not as relevant and strong as archery. Even the default archery is stronger than Timeless Melody and Forever Bond, I would say. Forever Bond is a purification ability. You can come here on the outfit setup and then you can choose it. And just like Timeless Melody, you can use the fragrances that you collect from the caves to customize your favorite combination of, attacks there. So you have the plunge, you have the normal attacks, and you have the charged attack. What is special about Forever Bond is the dash and the ultimate. So you can dash twice in a row like this. And with the Heart of Infinity of Itzalands, I think that the dash things here that reduce the dash time actually affect the Forever Bond as well. Because I don't remember being able to dash so often. But now, look, the cooldown is already over. I can already do it again. Almost sure that the Heart of Infinity dash cooldown reduction has affected the Forever Bond's purification abilities as well. But I'm not 100% sure on that, so I can't really confirm to you because I don't, I may be misremembering here. Can't promise you that it did in fact reduce the cooldown. Then we have the ult, and the ult is really cool because it gathers all the enemies, and you can either attack like that or spam the button to basically kill at once. So this is really useful, but of course you need to wait quite a long-ish cooldown to use this ultimate. I would say it's really not needed anymore because the archery is just better, and again we may get a whole new combat system in 3.0. Then we have Rainfall and Blossoms, and I would say this is either nice to have or optional. Yes, it's a nice to have because you can reach a lot more far away with this ability. Do we have a better option for that? I guess the mounts. If you have a mount, you don't really need Rainfall and Blossoms. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like this is either nice to have or optional. What this ability does is it gives a skin to your floating, and you get this little broom that you can fly with. And it's really cool, but the good thing is that you can dash while floating. So that helps you get far away with the float. But at the end of the day, it's just a floating ability. Other than this fact that you can reach far distances and that you can take cool little photos on your broom, there isn't really that much extra to it, unless I'm misremembering. But I feel like this ability is not like a huge must. I don't personally have it, and I have never felt the need to have it. I do like the outfit and I want more pieces of it, but it's just because of the static. I wouldn't say it's because of the ability. It's not really weighing on my decision there. Then we have this 4-star outfit, and I think this is a nice to have, maybe a free-to-play alternative, or maybe even a must-have, because I don't think we have an alternative for this. So this ability is a whimsicality that makes it rain or sun. So this is really good for gathering materials, of course. To use this, you'll head over to whimsicality menu, and the best use case would be the sunny and rainy orchard. So it's sunny right now, so it's a sunny orchard. But if you use the ability twice, you will create rain. So the first time they use, you make a sunny area around you, which is really useful because it also lights up. I'm actually going to change to nighttime so you can see better. It kind of lights up the area around you, which is really useful in a way. Or you can use the whimsicality again to make it rain, and then you can collect a rainy orchid. I don't remember right now if there's any other materials that you need that, but you may need that more in the future. And it's still nice to gather this material specifically. So it will start raining, and then in this small area, and then now you get a rainy orchid. So I really like this whimsicality. I think it's really useful for grinding, and is also useful to light up the area around you, and actually replaces 2 other 4-star abilities that came after this one. So if you're saving just for an ability like this, this is the better alternative for those kind of mechanics. Which I'm actually going to talk about them first, just because they are related. So I think it's better to, like more comprehensible. These 2 abilities do kind of like the same as this one, but this one is combined. It's a singular outfit that does everything. So this ability here creates a light zone around you. It's a stronger light than this one, but honestly, if you have this one, this is not really needed, at least in my opinion. So I'm going to show you here. It is nighttime right now. This is the animation. So yeah, it is a much stronger light, as you can see, but I do think that the other one is enough to light up a zone if you want to. And the second one that this outfit can replace is this fairy pixie that I also think it's not really needed. Although I do love this whimsicality, I must say I love the aesthetic and I love taking photos with it. It's not really needed for the purpose of making it rain specifically. So all this does is a zone that rains. But the zone of rain does not go around with your Nikki. So with this ability, you can run around and the rain cloud will follow you. With this one, it doesn't. So I'll use the whimsicality to make this really cute cake on the water there. And she summons the rain on this area. It's a much bigger zone. And it has this beautiful glittery, spacey water droplets. But it does not walk around with you. It's only that area over there. It is amazing for taking photos though. If you head over here and you open your camera will get a watery effect. I don't know if you can see the droplets here. There is a bunch of droplets of water. Maybe if I light Nikki up a little bit. And of course, Nikki will get some wet effect on her face and outfits as well. So I hope you can see, you see the droplet there. Like, this is so cool. I love this whimsicality for the photo reason, but for actual purpose, quality of life reason, I don't think it's needed if you have that other cloud outfit, which is this one here. So I guess I'm gonna put this on optional because this is really cute. So this is optional if you want like a cute thingy, but this one is definitely a must-have, I would say, for gathering materials. Then we have the Goth Brides, and the Goth Brides is optional. Nice to have. I think it's nice to have because it's really unique. We don't really have anything else like the Goth Bride in the game. So when you use the Goth Bride, you get this cutscene that you can skip, and you can summon a copy of Nikki, which is so cool because not only you can take photos with this duplicate Nikki, like let's say you don't really have friends or you want to take a photo like you're shy or something like that and want to take photos like yourself, direct the photo in really like a lot of detail. This is amazing for taking photos. So I think this is nice to have. We don't have any replacement for this in the game currently. And you can simply make another Nikki, pose her however you want. So let's say I'm gonna put like this pose here. And I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna summon her. Now I can exit and I can change my outfit. And I can simply open the camera and take a photo with this other Nikki that I made. Something else that you can do is you can get near the copy, click view, and you can send it away or you can dance together. In Dance Together, you can use the dual poses together, which I think is really, really awesome that they did this. So you put hug, you can take a photo hugging with her. You take this one, like you can play all of the duo actions with this duplicate Nikki. And if you have Crimson Phoenix, which has a dance cinematic that you can use with another person, you can also use that dance cinematic with this other Nikki that you have styled. And something really cool that other players have found out over time is that you can also use this ability to make combinations for your Nikki. So I'm gonna summon again this Nikki here. I'll click summon, not gonna change her. I'm gonna exit and not move. I'm gonna open my camera again. And now I'm gonna make a different kind of outfit. As you can see, I'm inside the other Nikki there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna choose like a big hair, like let's say this one. And I'm gonna choose other wings as well. I don't have other feathered wings, but those would have been perfect. Maybe this, like another back piece, you know, that I can't really stack with the wings. Or maybe this one here. It's gonna look crazy, but I'm gonna do this just to use as an example. And now I have basically the same Nikki, but with two stacked items. So if I get her to be properly aligned, it's easier if you select a pose and you stack that pose with the other Nikki, but you can get a perfect alignment here and take a photo of her with a mix of the two hairs and the two wings, for example. So you can like just use whatever pose you want. And you see, like it's almost like there's a stack of hairs here. I changed now to another hair and another back piece as well. And again, you can see that mix. So now I have the curly hair with the wings, with the back piece, but with the fringe from the other hair. So if you wait for the perfect alignment or you choose the exact pose, you can always take a photo and you get both these pieces combined. So that's really cool. It takes a little while to get the hang of it. Did not explain super well here. I can definitely make a video, like a quick video guide for this, but I think this is a really, really cool aspect of this ability that really makes it unique, and we don't really have a replacement right now. Then we have the full style gardening ability, and I think this is very nice to have. It's not a super must, but it definitely saves time because it helps you water your plants immediately after you plant them. So when you use this ability, you get an additional 30% boost to both the crop growth speed and mutation chance. So it adds a little bit to your growth there of your plants. I don't think this is a must because it's nice to have an additional boost, but I personally don't even water my plants always. At this point that I am in the game, the fish is really what carries my heartlight producing here, the fish and the animals. So the gardening is not like a huge part of my dailies with the home builds. I have multiple guides on how to make heartlights easy, and none of them really involve watering your plants. So I think this is nice and would be amazing if they released to every home ability, like an alternative like this. But I don't think it's a must, like it's optional. It's up to you really if that's important for you. Oh, and keep in mind that it does have a beautiful watering can as a handheld, but it's not a handheld yet. It's one of the last handhelds that need to be added to the game as a proper item. So it will be a handheld, but not yet. It will probably be when it reruns. Then we have Behind Prayers, and Behind Prayers is optional, I'd say. This is a tough one because as a sticky claw ability, it's fantastic. You can glide for so long, but it only works in its land. So the fact that it is limited, it's kind of similar to the loong, but in a way that it's not as useful because the loong has teleports that work everywhere. It's not only Dunchin. It's only the dragon that is limited. For Behind Prayers, it's the main ability that is limited, and I think that kind of makes it a little bit worse, slightly worse. It's optional. If you really would love to have a sticky claw for that, then that's a great alternative, but I personally don't think it's like a must-have or anything like that, just purely because it's land restricted. And if you're a new player, you will actually have to explore the entire boneyard area without the sticky claw, because the only way to get the sticky claw for the boneyard area, which is another map here, is by reaching Heaven's Reach and unlocking on the Heart of Infinity. So sticky claw can't even be used in this area here unless you do all of the story, and then you do this, you reach this area as well. So you could maybe put off the exploration of boneyard until you finish the quest, and then once you reach Heaven's Reach, then you can unlock the sticky claw there. But primarily only in these areas and Spear of the City, that's where you can use, and then of course also in your home and the Sea of Stars. So I'm gonna show you here how the ability works. You simply use jump and press G, and you will glide around. She will fall down slowly, and once she hits the ground, she'll stop gliding. It has a very quick cooldown, which is really nice. And something really awesome is that you can create your own custom hooks. So this can be useful for your home island. So let's say you're in your home island and you want to create a hook right here on the roof. You can press this button, T on the computer, and that's it. That's a hook. You just created it. So if you're all the way down there in the floor, you can just jump and sticky claw to it. The distance that I can sticky claw with this account is not very much, but if you have the Heart of Infinity, you can easily sticky claw into it, just like that. And I think you can create up to 3 hooks, maybe. Let me see. I'll create some intermediate ones so we can easily reach it. Let me put one here, and then another one right here. I think if I create a third one, it's gonna get destroyed. So let me sticky claw here and there. Oh, you can only create 2. Sorry, I forgot because I don't have this ability. So it's only 2 hooks, but you can create them in your home island, which is really useful. Or you can create on the open world as well, if you prefer. The really cool part is definitely the gliding though. So if you are in a very high spot, you can see how far the gliding goes. I have some videos testing the distance and speed as well that I can link down below if I remember. But I have tested all that you can with this ability as well, compared to the mounts and the unicorn and all of that. Then we have the water rippling reverie ability. I think that this is not really needed. It's nice to create pillars to reach higher spaces, but you can do that with other abilities. It can create hooks similar to Behind Prayers, but if you have Behind Prayers, you don't need hooks because you already have this, you know. So between Behind Prayers and Rippling Reverie, I would say Behind Prayers is better. I'm gonna make a little switch here, sorry, because I just realized Rippling Reverie can create 3 hooks and they are not limited by map. The only problem with them is that I think if you log off the game, they stop working. Let's test it now. Okay, so just to explain Rippling Reverie, you can create, it also takes a whole slot. You can create this pillar, which is nice to reach higher spots. If you fall down from the pillar, you can interact with it to head over there again. It's nice because it's like a free prop. You can take photos with this, which is really cool. But if you have a friend that has it, you can just ask them to use the ability and then you can take a photo with theirs. So this is also, a possibility for you. And then of course you have the little hook. I'm going to create them here. Oh, sorry, it's G. And I'm going to create another one here and another one here. So that's fine. Every 30 meters, you lose contact with those hooks. So I'm gonna reach a far distance. You see how it got golden? You can't teleport to it anymore. But if you are within 30 meters, you just need to press T and you can teleport to them. And then you can keep teleporting to each other. And if you press it quickly, you teleport quickly. So the animation is pretty cool. The problem is that, as you can see, the hook disappeared. So it's not permanent as behind prayers. I feel like that's a massive downside, actually. Let me test if it continues when you log off. If it disappears after you log off, then this is proper bad, actually. Let's log off now. They disappear. No, whatever I said about behind prayers, I'm sorry. So never mind that. Behind prayers is optional. This is not really needed. I would say as much as the water free prop is nice, this is not needed at all. Behind prayers is way better. So definitely optional, even though it's region restricted. Forget everything I said earlier. I may even cut down that because I got confused there. I forgot about the limitations of this, which are way worse. Then we have Born Flawless, and I feel like Born Flawless is definitely a must-have for so many different reasons, which I'll show you here. A lot of people do have Born Flawless and don't know how to use, or don't have Born Flawless and wasn't really aware of all that it does. I made several guides and live streams about this, but I believe that this is a must-have, even if they introduce a new combat system in 3.0. Unless, keep this in mind, this is important, if 3.0 introduces a new combat system that depurposes the purification and archery. So, for example, evil thought here, okay, let's pray this doesn't happen, but let's say 3.0 introduces a new combat system, the melee combat system. Now, Esselings cannot be hit from far away. They have a external shield of sorts. The only way to hit the Esselings is by getting really close to them and then punching them in the face. That's the new monk melee fighting style. This is it. This is the new combat system. That means archery is going to be just as useless as the purification is today. So this could happen. I don't hope it does, but this could happen. If that horrible scenario doesn't happen, then Born Flawless is amazing and it's going to help you with combat so much, make your life so much easier. It's just all-rounder for combat overall. So Born Flawless can be configured here on the archery. You can go on outfit setup and you can equip it. It has tons of settings for you to customize if you want the cutscene, if you don't want the cutscene. I personally like the cutscene because I don't ult that often. There is really not that much need to ult with this ability. So I end up not ulting too much. So I do like to see the animation when I very rarely do ult. The only situation where I ult is when I'm in a big, beefy overworld bosses, like the ones that we had in the boneyards. In Heaven's Reach, we don't have any bad ones anymore, but I think the bear has a lot of HP, or is it the lantern? With those two, you may want to ult just to heal yourself or to increase your energy. But overall, with Born Flawless, what you really want to do is use your black hole and then 4 normal attacks like this. This will purify a whole group of Esselings in a second. Probably never ever gonna use any more than this exact combination of actions. And as you probably already know, in the overworld and in the mirror arena, you essentially only find groups of Esselings. So for most use cases, Born Flawless is all you need. So I'm gonna use the black hole and I'm gonna do normal attacks. I only did two normal attacks. You know what I mean? It's really fast and helpful. And of course, it has the biggest advantage of all, which is the dash. That's what really is life-changing. Honestly, I wish the dash was separate so I could combine with other combat systems, because the dash is so life-changing that I cannot see myself ever using other ability for combat, because I need this dash. This dash is just absolute must-have. For me personally, who really loves the speedy gameplay, I like floor, I like to use the dash to get around. So with the dash, you can dash really long distances, which I'll show you here in a bit. But I just want to say 2 things about the ult that are really important that could be must-haves for you, is that when you ult, you fill your energy bar, just like Guided No Return, which also does that. And that's really helpful because it gives you extra diamonds of action points. And also, when you use plunge while using the ult, you actually add free hearts for yourself. So it's almost like healing free hearts for you. And there is essentially no cooldown other than using the action points. So you can keep creating free extra hearts for you during your ult by plunging, and that's it. So you're dealing damage and creating free extra health hearts for yourself. So it's really proper good for survivability. It does even more things that I'm not going to explain in detail here, but just really, in my personal opinion, this is a must-have for combat, unless they do that crazy thing with combat in 3.0. But I'm gonna dash here. As you can see, it's super fast, and there is people who have said that they don't like how fast it is, so it really depends on your personal gameplay. For me, this is like an absolute must. So I ulted, and then I can keep dashing over and over for even more distance, and it's so incredibly fast. So I want to show you the plunge. It teleports you to the nearest Asaline, and it also creates free hearts there. As you can see there is a little shield. Then we have related outfit, Guide of No Return. And I would say if you have Born Flawless, you do not need Guide of No Return. It is completely optional. But if you don't have Born Flawless, then this is going to be a must-have for you because you need an archery ability. So I think I'll create one more tab here, and this will be an absolute must-have. Absolute must-have. If 3.0 doesn't ruin it, I'll call it like that. Only one of these. Pick yours. Only one needed. Okay, this is a large category, but I hope this is kind of clear. So you only need either this or that. If you don't like speedy dash, then you can go with Guide of No Return, which is a much slower dash, which has a little bit of a problem, which is the energy efficiency, but I'm going to show you now. It's better for charged attacks. You want to power up your charged attack, and it's more geared towards bosses that have hundreds of HP. You're going to end those big bosses a lot quicker. However, again, in the overworld and the arena, you're gonna find groups of Asalines more often, at least so far in the game. For the Guide of No Return, simplifying it a lot, just like I simplified the Born Flawless. So what we want to do is use your glide and then your E, or just hit a certain combination of normal attacks to get your powered up charged attacking stat. The only problem is that these abilities spend a lot of action points, so it has a little bit of an energy efficiency problem, especially if you want to glide and dash as well, because the dash also consumes a whole action point, which is honestly, in my opinion, they should definitely fix this, because it just eats up all of your action points. With like just 4 dashes, you can't do anything else. But with the glide, what you want to do is like glide up, and then you want to use like elemental skill or just like the normal attacks, and then you want to press and hold. Now you can finish each Asaline one by one. This is the fastest you can be, unless you ult, of course, and then you can ult against the big bosses. And then for the dash, you just need to press the dash twice very quickly, and you do a little dash there, but again, it does consume a whole diamond. So keep that in mind, that after 4 dashes, you can't do it anymore. So you got stuck until it recharges. Then we also have the glide itself. So not only you use the glide on the combat, but you can also use for traversal. So all you have to do is press this button, but it will consume 2 entire action points. And again, it kind of falls down into that energy efficiency problem. This essentially means you only have 2 action points for duration. You can also ult during that to try to fill your bar. Activate it right now. This is what it looks like. You can glide around. If you press the space bar, you can jump up, and then you can press again to jump down again. This is the maximum height it goes, so it cannot go any more height. And it can be good to traverse certain places, but we do have other alternative glides in the mounts. I guess the full star mount, the motorbike, doesn't, but the lion, the unicorn can glide of sorts or hover of sorts, and they also have additional abilities, but we'll talk about those two later in this video. Another thing that you should keep in mind is that we don't really have that many bosses in the map, so this should help you make a decision as well. In the boneyard, we only have 2, which is the bear and the lantern, like I mentioned earlier. In Heaven's Reach, we have 4, but none of them are very beefy like that. Like, they don't have that much HP, so I think they already toned it down. This is something that you should always keep in mind as well. They sometimes, actually not sometimes, they always design the map to be useful for that specific outfit that they're releasing. So for example, ballerina is perfect for here because it has tons of verticality. It makes it really useful, right? So keep that in mind, as well as a very important detail that I see a lot of people talking about, but it's incorrect, is that, oh, this is really good for the story bosses. The abilities cannot be used in the story. So whirls, for example, and mortalite, for example, we were forced to use the default archery. I don't know if they do this to make it fair, so everyone has the same ability available. So for example, right now I have Born Flawless equipped. I'm going to interact with the gates and I'm gonna enter the Echoes of War. So I'll challenge mortalite here. And despite having Born Flawless, I cannot use her because we are all forced to use the default archery. And I see a lot of people claiming otherwise. And I'll also head over to the whirls. I'm gonna challenge. And same thing, I cannot use the Born Flawless. I'll now equip the Guide of No Return. So I've got the bow here. I'm gonna enter the challenges again. So here, even after you already clear the story, you still cannot use the outfit. So I'm with the Guide of No Return. I'm gonna challenge Mortalite. And here I am with the default archery bow. Now still with the Guide of No Return, I'm gonna challenge Whirls. And here I am with normal bow as well. So keep that in mind because we only have a few mini bosses on the overworld and there isn't really that much need for you to defeat them often. So once you craft everything that you have to craft, which should be like a couple times each boss, you're probably not gonna have to challenge them ever again, unless you want to, and then that's up to you, of course. Then we have the bug catching ability, and I think that this is a free-to-play alternative to the above, which will be Floral Rebirth, so we're gonna talk about it in a bit. This helps you with bug catching because it has a very increased in size net, so it helps you catch bugs from a little bit more far away and also bugs in area. You need to equip here on the bug catching ability, and as you press and hold, your net will increase in size until it's like gigantic like that. So you can walk slowly towards a group of bugs and it will catch those bugs that are within the net. So the area is not super big. As you can see, it's just this golden area here and you get all the bugs around here. But the real, upside of this is that it's a 4-star outfit. So it's a really good free-to-play alternative to Floral Rebirth, which we'll talk next. So this here is Floral Rebirth, and I think this is a must-have. The quality of life, oh my god, it's like unmatched. It's so good for farming bugs. The area is insane. You can run and walk and jump while you do it. When this outfit was first released, I didn't actually think it was going to be this incredible for quality of life. I'll be honest. I thought like, why would I even want to catch that many bugs anyways? But it's just so satisfying, and the area is way bigger than you think. Like, look at that butterfly over there. There is no icon on top of it, but I'm gonna press bug catch and she's catched. Like, the area is so big that I thought it was a bug at first because it's just so gigantic. You catch so many bugs so easily with this. It's like 5 minutes grinding and you have energy exchange materials for the rest of the year, kind of. So it's really cool to have that. The only problem with the game currently is that even if you catch hundreds of pets and bugs and fish, you don't really have that much to use them on, and I think this is a massive issue about balancing the systems that they need to work on very quickly, because this would improve the gameplay a lot if they do balance it better. So actually, I'm gonna create yet again another role, and this role will also be red because I also think it's a must-have, but I would say it gathers like quick gathering plus quality of life. However, I just want you to remember that even if you gather everything quickly and it is a massive quality of life, we don't currently need to gather that much. So I think this is important to remember, but I would say that it just made my gameplay so much more like faster and more smooth and more satisfying that I personally think it's a must-have, but it really depends on what you think. And then entering this category will be Forest Ripple as well. So Forest Ripple can gather materials. It's not as good, fast and smooth as these two, but it's also life-changing and it allows you to regrow the items for you to farm them as well. It is its own ability on the wheel, which is a little bit annoying. I wish it wasn't. And all you have to do is approach materials like these ones here, these flowers, and you can press the button and you can walk around and jump. But you cannot do any other action for a little while. It has a little bit of a lag. So keep that in mind. So I'll try to gather these materials and change ability. I'm not going to be able to. So I can't change finally. With the bugs and the patting, it's really different. So I'm gonna pat and I can already change abilities, you see? So Forest Ripple does not have that smoothness that Enchanted Encounter and Floral Rebirth do. But with Forest Ripple, you can recreate the plants. So I'm gonna click G here. You got a little fairy flowery walk that you can deactivate on the settings, and here are all of the materials again, so you can gather them again. Oh, and as you can see, the area is not super big because I used the ability there and I didn't gather these ones. So I wish the area was bigger as well. It's not as big as the, again, Enchanted Encounter and Floral Rebirth. I get confused with the names because like Forest Ripple doesn't catch bugs even though it's a firefly, and then Floral Rebirth doesn't regrow the plants like the firefly does. It's a little confusing with the names, but I think I said all the names right. If I didn't, I'll just write on the screen when I'm editing. Then we have this stealthy whimsicality, and this is not really needed, let's be for real. This lets you be invisible to the behemoths, and I think maybe to the Asselins, but do you really need to do that? I don't think anybody needs to do that. Maybe in the future they could do some fun stealthy quests that this can be used. I have never tested on the story quests with stealth though, but I imagine it doesn't work. So for example, the Italian first quest in update 2.0, we had to sneak past the docilists. I don't think that this ability works, but it would be really cool if it did, or if they released an ability like that in the future. I don't think this is needed. I love this outfit, it's beautiful, but the whimsicality is just a whimsicality, because once you pat a behemoth, that behemoth will never attack you ever again. So it doesn't really have a point, I feel. Like if the behemoths always attacked you, no matter if you ever patted them or not, then this would be a nice quality of life. But because the behemoths never attack you once you patted them once in your lifetime, it's not really needed. You just get invisible, kind of like an invisible effect, and that's it. Then we have where wanxiang lives life. I think this is nice to have. Most people would say it's optional, but similar to the goth bride here, I think it's so unique and it's the only outfit that brings these abilities that I personally think it's a nice to have, not just optional. I may be suspicious to talk about this one though, because I seriously love this outfit so much, like in all aspects. You have the bling magnet, which is so helpful. When you get close to blings, you don't need to, touch them to get them. You can just approach them and you get them in area. It works in all of the maps. The illusion magic changes your face and also, well, Nikki's face anyways, and also your walking animation, and also creates a little fake prop background. So it does so many things. For example, if you're using the ballerina dress, you will notice that she walks in a specific ballerina way, with her legs one in front of the other and her arms really opened. If you want to override that, you can simply use the fun lady, if you have her, of course. Here you can choose between 4 different shapes, which I like to call as autumn, spring, summer, and winter. They changed Nikki's facial features. I can get my video from that showcase to show you exactly, like you can check that video even for all of the facial differences, but it changes her eyebrows, her nose shape, her mouth shape, everything, and also changes your walking animation. So let's say we got the autumn version here, which also changes your makeup sometimes. Some makeups even break depending on the faces, but she creates this background here for each one, and now her walk animation is completely different. Look. She has only one arm up, and her legs is also different. It doesn't matter what dress she's wearing. So depending on the walk animation that you want to have, you can change it. Also, the idol animation also changes. I forgot about that. And if you're in wanxiang realm, some NPCs, including Tanyonyo, will change their reaction to you approaching them, depending on the shape that you're using. So let's change to another one, this spring one. That's her idol, the backgrounds, and her walk will be very cute and bubbly. Then we have the summer, which is kind of similar to spring. It has these lotus on the background, which I really love. This is her idol. It pairs really well with the ballerina dress, the summer one. She also walks all bubbly like this and runs bubbly too. And then we have the winter, which changes her face the most, I would say. Her nose is completely different with this shape and has one of the nicest backgrounds. This is the idol. And her walk is really stern and rigid, kind of strict walk. And I'll zoom in into her face here. You can see how thin her nose is and how, like, not large her mouth is in this face shape. Her eyes as well, a little bit more closed. Let's see here. Let me change the outfit to an outfit that we can see the difference better. So you see her mouth is a little smaller. Her nose is a little thinner and really straight in here, as well as her eyes a little bit closed off. This makeup, for example, does change quite a bit. The eyeshadow there. Let me remove the fringe. So as you can see, this is kind of like squished. I'm gonna remove the face shape now. And I'm gonna show you again. And you see her mouth is now larger, her nose is a little bit more button nose, less straight, and her eyes are much more rounded now. So that squishy part has disappeared. It's really cool. I personally think it's so novel and so unique and helps photos a lot as well. So again, if you care about photos, this ability may be really worth it for you. Then we have the chroma deer, and I think that the chroma deer is it's a good one. It's good for gathering and quality of life because it shows you the chest locations. And for wanxiang realm, similar to the loong, you can fly around, which is really cool. So you equip here as its own slot, and Nikki will transform like this. And this ability was really proper bad when it was released, but they have fixed and optimized it, which is really nice of them. I'm so glad they did. And you can fly around in wanxiang realm specifically, so only in this map you can fly. And you can track chests around every single map, which is super useful. So you can just press G and you see those highlights. Those are chests that I have not collected yet. So I'm gonna go down here and there is a chest in here. The only problem with this ability that I think is extremely annoying, they still need to work on, is that if any Essling sees you at all, any Essling spots you, everything's cancelled. The chest tracking, the flying, it's proper annoying, to be honest. I feel like they really need to fix that because this is a massive issue that ruins the quality of life of it. So for example, for the dungeons, I have been clearing the dungeons manually and then I start using the chest tracking because I know that it doesn't really matter if I use the chest tracking while the Esslings are still alive because it's gonna cancel everything. So I use the chest tracking and then 1 second later it's canceled. I feel like this is really proper annoying. I really hope that they fix this because it really doesn't make any sense. Let me see if I can find an Essling here and you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna approach this group. Oh, you see, from this distance, I'm completely canceled. Both the chest tracking and the flying. So this is proper annoying. I really wish they would remove that. But even with this annoyance, if you clear the Esslings first, it can be really helpful for you to track the chests and not miss any rewards if you don't like to use the interactive map, for example. Actually, if anything, I wish they would do this for the deals. That would be like just incredible because I can't see the deals for the life of me. Then we have the unicorn, which I'll talk about last because I want to talk about the griffon as well because they're both mounts. And we have the red hoods. I love this outfit. This is my top favorite outfit in the game to this day, as in 5-star banners. But the ability is not needed at all. I'm so sorry. I love this outfit so much, but the ability is just summoning a companion that you can't even summon outside of its land. So it's limited, just like Behind Prayers, and also doesn't really change anything in your life other than looking really cool and maybe letting you take a specific, nice, fun photo. So I'm going to show you here. So you go on ability setup, you go outfit setup, and you can change your companion. Magyu is objectively the best companion for you if you struggle with survivability because he heals you. And then this added to Born Flawless and maybe that whimsicality. You're just going to have so many hearts, you don't even need to bother. So this is the best companion. The companion from the Red Hood is cool and fun, but I don't think it's a must in any way. You get a little skin that comes with it, which is really cool. I really appreciate that. And he has a few abilities. So I'm gonna summon him here. What I really love about this ability is just the cutscene that you have. So I'm gonna summon him. Again, it only works in Itzaland and wanxiang realm for some reason. You can click control when you approach him, or you can tell him to go attack an Essling. If you press like that, he goes towards that direction. So I'll tell him to go here. He will spawn down there. You know, you can redirect him to attack the enemies just like Momo does. And you can also control your companion by hopping on his back. And then you get this really cool cutscene. Love that so much. But again, this is just good for a little screenshot. That's it. You can't really do much with that. You can jump with him and then you can walk, and he actually covers a lot of distance because of how gigantic he is. But again, only eats a land. So this is a massive downside for me. He can roar, attack. He can, I think... Oh, this is the roar. Yeah, it stuns the enemies, I think. You can also press R for the auto mode, I think. Oh, this one? Yeah. So he fights for you. You know, you don't have to do anything. He will fight the Aslings and chase the Aslings on his own. Like, but as you can see, it's not crazy. Oh, actually, it's been more useful than I remembered. I don't know. I don't think it's a must-have. Purely for the limitation, I suppose, since you can't use in other maps. And the duration is quite long. I'm gonna press Q now. You have this cute little animation with him, which is really cute. It's adorable. It's adorable. It's cute, but I'll be honest, I've never really used this. Then we have Soundless Dawn, and I'm gonna say this is optional, unless you really want to pair it up with Enchanted Encounter. This is Enchanted Encounter wife. You know, they're married. You need them together if you want to maximize Soundless Dawn. They love each other. You need them. But I'll leave her on optional because this is not super extra needed. What this really does is group up all of the animals in a singular area. And then, of course, if you have Enchanted Encounter, it's just like 1 second and you have tons of paths. So here you can summon these bands. They play music. You can activate or deactivate some of the shadows. You can also play as them if you have an instrument. So you can approach it, press interact, and you can start to play. And you can choose the instruments that you have. For example, I do not have the harp, which is from update 1.5, I think. So I cannot play it. You only play the instruments that you own the outfit for. So I'm gonna play with the GZ. And here I am. I can play the music. All of the instruments are available through this ability. I don't personally play with music much, so I don't actually use this often, but I do love the song that comes with it. There is 2 songs available. I have the showcase as well, showing all the details. It's really cool to group up the animals, as you can see here. The only problem is that it does not group up legendary animals like these Nella birds here. So it doesn't really matter if you put near the Nella birds, it's not gonna drag them nearby. Just like it wouldn't work on the beeb cones, for example. Then we have the mount. We have the unicorn and the griffin now in update 0.8. So let's talk about them too at the same time, because I think that you only need one. So I would say quick gathering quality of life, kind of, but you only need one of them. You don't need both. Personally, find the griffin is slightly better because I like the control that we have of hovering mid-air. But if you don't have behind prayers, for example, or the dragon, for example, the soar ability of the unicorn is way too good to ignore, you know? So it really is up to you. I personally like the griffin more, but I think either of the mounts is totally fine. You just need to choose which one you prefer. So definitely only one. You don't need both at all. That's about the unicorn. Both of them are in the same mount ability here. So you have the griffin and the unicorn on the same button. And for the unicorn, you can just call him in. You can approach him to mount, or you can toggle it off on the settings. And when you press the button, you can automatically just hop on him. So there's a quicker way to do it. When you hop on him, you can run around, which is already quite fast. And you can dash as well, which has a little cooldown here and a little duration as well. And of course, you can soar. And the soar is really cool because it's a little glide. It's slow, but it's very useful to traverse high places. So again, just like the Guide of No Return or the Behind Prayers, you can at least glide around if you want to. So for example, if you went for Born Flawless, not Guide of No Return, maybe having the Griffin or the Unicorn could be a good complement for you because you're going to have movements and glide. You can also attack Aslings while mounted. This applies for both of them. You can shoot the arrows, the default one, and also hold the charge attack, which is really nice. And your unicorn has HP here. I do have ability comparison videos between the two and other abilities as well, if you want to check the speed and endurance. And when you summon one, the other one will disappear, so you can't have both following you around, unfortunately. I wish we could, that would be quite funny. For the Griffin, same thing, you summon and then you mount, or you can just mount directly when summoning. He can run and he can also dash. And instead of soaring, he can hover mid-air. I'm gonna show you here because it's actually better than it may seem at art. So you can soar mid-air, which is nice for taking pictures, of course. You can open the screenshot button, take a nice little photo, or you can just head over to any of these directions that he can land on. So here it's blue and gray because you can't land on here, but here it's golden because you can land on. So let's try to land on there, but I'm gonna cancel mid-air and activate the hover again to change my direction because you can do that, and that's really, really cool. So I'm gonna head over there, I'm gonna cancel, and I'm gonna hover again. Now I'm gonna change my direction. I'm gonna cancel, and I'm gonna hover again, and I'll go back. So I think that this is really awesome, and that's why I think the Griffin is slightly better, because although he cannot soar upwards, you know, he can at least reach far distances and you have still a little bit of control, even if it's not as free as the unicorn. I think this is a really cool ability to have. I hope they create more mounts in the future. I really want to have a proper dragon mount that can fly. That would be amazing. So I love the mounts. I think mounts were a great addition to the game, and I think they're really, really, really nice to have, like really good quality of life for sure. Just keep in mind the Griffin does not shut up though. He's so noisy. I've only found out recently because I was trying to record a video and I was like, oh my god, this lion doesn't stop roaring, what the heck. But yeah, very cute though, love them. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we have an absolute must-have. Honestly, alongside with Born Flawless, the ballerina and Born Flawless are the two only outfits that I feel like everyone should have. They are such musts that they should be free even, because they are just that life-changing. I think they're super unique, they're very useful for mobility and exploration, and there's no other ability that does what they do. So I think the ballerina is an absolute must. It's so good. You have multiple different things you can do with it. First of all, you can create the mirror to share your outfits with other people. This is not a must in any way, but it is definitely quite fun. You can jump through the mirror, and this can be placed on the water, but the zone is really big. I don't know if you can see very well, but it goes all the way here. You see the crystals? So this zone is like a really proper massive. Like this is what this zone stops. So if you put this on water, I'm gonna show you. So let's put it on water here. Look how massive the area is. You see I'm in the wall. I can just step on here. You have this special skating pose that you can activate just to skate around if you want. And look at that. This is the edge of the area. All of this can be used to reach far distances in the water. And you can also pair with snowy ballads as well, and pair them two together to reach a longer distance. So that's pretty nice for exploring, that's for sure. And of course, you can jump through the mirror and share your outfits with your friends. You can style 4 different outfits in the ability if you wish to. You can head over here, go ability setup, and if you click here, you can style all of these shadows with whatever outfits you want. You can also import them from your 7 slots as well. Then we have, of course, the main ability, the ability to climb the walls, and there is no other outfit, no other ability that does that for us in the game currently. Not only it climbs in a really cool way, very helpful. It works on uneven walls, as you can see, it works on mountains. You can reach so many spots with this ability. You can use everywhere in the overworld. There is no map restriction. This is insane. I love this so much. This is so good for exploration. It's going to be just like, I feel like this is a must. This is a must. To be able to climb tall spaces like this and fast and smooth is just like such a quality of life for exploration. So as you can see, it's so fast. You can climb literally everything, and it lasts forever as well. Like we didn't even finish the cooldown there yet. And it's just the best. Honestly, love this ability. This is so good. I wish every game had this, to be honest. And I think that's it. I'll put here my final tier list with the addition of the Griffin and the ballerina. I hope that this small showcase of the abilities help you decide what you're going to save for the reruns or not. But again, I know, another disclaimer, but these are my personal opinions and my personal experience. This is what I experienced from playing since day one as a very old player who played closer beta and every single day ever since then. So I really prefer those abilities for those reasons that I shared here, but if you prefer others, I'm happy for you. I just hope that this video was helpful to you to know what you prioritize and what you want to save for the reruns, and I wish you very good luck on your polls. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all of the members and patrons who support the channel and make these videos possible, and see you on the next one.
Ryan Little.